I just had coffee, and that is the best time for me to do this video because it actually makes me want to talk to people. Oh my gosh, hey, hi, good morning, how are you? Welcome back to my channel that I literally haven't posted on in 4 months. Absolutely, that is where we're at. But you clicked on this video because this is an updated ADHD home office tour, which you've probably never seen me before, so this is the first ADHD office tour that you're getting of mine. But I did one a few months ago, and since then my life has changed a bit. A lot of the same stuff going on, but I just wanted to give you guys an update. That is the title of this video. Now, if I'm a new face to you, hey, my name's Claire and I'm an interior designer specifically for neurodivergent living, and I have ADHD. I design homes and spaces that are systems first, aesthetics second. Because if it doesn't work for your brain, it's not going to work for your lifestyle. And for those of us who take in a lot more information than the average person, your space really matters and it really impacts how you live your life, especially when it's your home office. Working from home, while it is glorified, when you really struggle with executive function and time management and time blindness and sensory processing things, being at home can be really hard sometimes. So that's why I'm here. That's why I exist, to make your life a little bit easier. This is my home office. It's very small. It's literally 57 inches across by just short of 12 feet down. So this was actually part of a bigger dining room, like living room den situation when we moved into this house, but that just wasn't functional. Like, the layout of my house is very odd. It was built in 1957, I think. And so there's just a lot of things about the house that are old and 50s based. And this house was rented out for 30 years before my husband and I moved in. So there's just a lot of things that we had to customize ourselves. And one of those things was making a home office space for me because we have 2 bedrooms upstairs and 2 downstairs. It's a split ranch. And the ones downstairs were just like cavey. They were so cavey and they just didn't work for me. My husband's office is downstairs, but I need a lot of natural light to function. And this was the only area in our house that really gets good natural light. It's the only south-facing window in the entire house. And I'm a plant, so this is where I am. This is where I sit. All of that being said, this was a part of a bigger room. So when we were figuring out my home office situation, because I kept bouncing around, we just said kind of like, screw it. This house actually doesn't have a good spot for me. Let's build one in. That's exactly what we did. So we went and we built in 2 wall panels. So you can see the one back here on camera. Haha, this one. There's a matching one over here that you cannot see. You'll see it later. And then these are barn doors that we thrifted from Facebook. They were actually French doors and we turned them into barn dours. Can I move my camera? Can you even see that? There we go. So they're attached to the ceiling. We got like a barn door mounting kit and figured that all out ourselves. We're pretty DIY friendly, so like that was a good weekend project for us. Was putting this up, but then it also extended like 3 more weeks because we had to extend the doors. Not that we didn't mismeasure, we just changed our build plans, and so we had to figure that out, and we did. But I don't recommend figuring out how to extend doors if that's not your profession, because that was actually really difficult. Like, these do open and close, of course. Most of the time I keep them open, but if I'm doing some serious work, they're gonna be shut. And that's typically the sign of, leave me alone, go away, I'm in hyperfocus, I literally don't want to talk to you, or I will kill you signal. Even within that though, these are not soundproof at all. You can see the gaps here just because that's not how we built this. This is way more of a fancy room divider than it actually is a closed off space. And I kind of like that because I like to feel a part of things as well. And if I'm too closed off, I feel very isolated. And that makes me nervous. So that's why we didn't do that. Now, what do I talk about now? What do I... So this is my desk. You can't even see it. This is my desk. Wow. If you watched my previous home office tour, that's what this is. This is a home office tour. You would know that I had custom built my own desk for this room. And I love it. And it was great. It was thin. It was only 11 inches deep. It spanned this entire wall. And then was an L shape against the wall you are currently propped up on. I loved it. It was great. The reason I moved it is because I had a harder time. I developed having a harder time keeping it clean, not because it wasn't good for this space, but it was because my life had changed and what I needed it for changed. Prior, the reason I built it is because I wanted a computer like command system on this side, and then this side would be like more like a brainstormy, like crafty space where I could just kind of like spread out. What happened is I ended up sitting here more because of the window, and if I sat over there, I would get so locked in that I would forget to eat, which like obviously isn't great. And we ended up moving that desk downstairs, and that is now in the drum room. This desk has floated around our home. This was my desk back when we lived in an apartment, and I was planning on switching it out and getting something else that just fit a little better, but actually as I developed the space a little bit more, I've come to like it again, and it is the perfect thing for me and for this space. I'm sorry I keep like clacking my rings. I just forget they're there. So this is what I've been using. Right now it's a little bit messy. I keep this very clean most of the time. This is just mic stuff for this video. Usually that's tucked away in this drawer. So this is all my tech camera stuff lives in here. Headphones live in here with my phone charging cables. Stay. And then this drawer is just for my laptop, so I can hide it away and not see it when I don't want to. I always keep my planner and a notebook on my desk because that needs to be visible at all times. Now, I really like this planner. I got it at a paper source. It's by Graphique. They're a French company, I think. But do I want to show you my to-dos, or I don't know, just in case. This is what it looks like. So it's laid out to have the there's not 6 days a week, there's 7 days a week. It's 6 pockets. Saturday and Sunday are combined because let's be honest, we should not be doing that much work on the weekend. We shouldn't. Take a break. If you're working that hard on the weekend, take a break. Like, I work on the weekend too, but like, it can be a combined day on your planner, you know what I mean? I have like a notes section down here, and I like it because I can see everything I need to all in one go, and that's a big thing for me. Like, everything has to be visible at all times, and so having a cutie little small office makes it that everything I need is here and visible and a priority, but the only things that can live in here are a priority for my office and for my productivity and whatever I'm doing in this space. And if it's not, it doesn't live in here. So my previous space had a bunch of shelving behind me. Those have also moved downstairs to my husband's office, but originally I had stuff I had to sort through from old jobs, and I never got to it. They just lived there. And stuff started to get really cluttered all the time, and even when I do resets, it never felt clean. It was just too much visually. So since then, I've removed that stuff. I actually have sorted it. It is gone. It has been recycled. The things that need to stay here are here, and everything else is gone. And so I've been able to cut down on just a lot of the clutter in my space because of that. If you've read my ADHD home office playbook, I talk about having your desk being a cockpit and a command center. Typically, most people, their desk is against a wall. Not everyone, a lot of people. My desk has a window in front of it, not a wall. Now, this is really great for me because this ties into attention restoration theory and gentle fascination and being able to rest your brain. It's also really good for your eyes because when you look up, your eyes have a much farther field of depth, so it's less strain on your eyes, especially if you're looking at a screen all day. So this is really great for me. This gives me a lot of dopamine, but it means I also can't put decor or anything here. Now, because I've been so good about keeping my desk clean, I do have a few items on it that I would typically not recommend to other people. I think it's okay to break your own rules if you know what the rules are. So I'm going to move you and then we can walk through those. Oh my gosh, hi. You can see the wall now. You were up there. There, that one. Cool. I am also wearing sneakers because I needed to film this video. And that's the way of tricking my brain into being productive. I've had this little baby Lucky Bamboo guy for like 6 years now, and he's going strong. He didn't always live in this container, but he's been doing great in there. Then I have a photo of my husband and I on our wedding day. We actually got married in a courthouse parking lot. on like a random Tuesday. It wasn't random, it like made sense to us, but then we had our ceremony with like friends and family like 6 months later. But that's a very special photo to me. Very sweet, very cute. Another plant. Nothing really special about this plant, but this pot was given to me by my sister-in-law. It's just very classy and very cute. And it was given to me at a time when I was a broke college student, and I was like, I don't deserve anything this nice. And it helps me remember that I'm allowed to have nice things, and that can be a standard, that you're allowed to have that even if it feels uncomfortable. Next, we have nail aid because my nails are weak. I don't know about you guys. I've always been a nail biter. Just in the more recent years, I've put in a tremendous effort to not. And my nails are doing pretty well, but they're really thin. And I was getting them done for a while, which I love. It makes my life so much easier. But they need to be stronger before I go back to the salon. So currently rocking with some half painted chipped purple nails, but I put this stuff on twice a day and it's been really helpful. Then I have my pen holder. I thrifted this, buddy, years ago, and I just think it's really fun. Who doesn't love a little antique moment? And it holds all of my pens, pencils, etc. And then I keep 2 sets of pliers on here. These are wire cutters. They're so useful, actually. You don't know how many things you need them for until you put them on your desk and then use them all the time. And same with pliers. I don't have kids, but I imagine if you have kids too, these would also be very handy to keep on your desk. This is actually an envelope opener that my mom got in Africa before I was born, and I just think it's really cool. It reminds me of her. She always had it on her desk when I was a kid growing up, and so it's like a little piece of my mom on my desk. And then this is actually a photo of my husband and I when we were dating, and I think it's so cute. It's lived in this like crystal frame thing for the longest time, and I just love it. So it lives there. You see this? You're currently resting on my coffee. I have some note-taking things, whatever, they're not sticky notes, it's just like little slips of note-taking paper. Now, this is a reminder that I am filming on my phone, not because I don't have a nice camera and couldn't film on my camera, but because oftentimes setting up a tripod and mics and that whole situation is not inherently difficult, but it's a blocker because there's so many transitions in getting that right. And it's okay to not do the things you have the ability to do because they're a blocker for you at the time you need to do them. The best thing you can do for yourself is just get your stuff out, get your content out, make it exist. Once making it exist feels easier to you, you can make it better later. I'm still new at YouTubing and making videos and long-form videos, and it's really tough for me to pull out a camera and be perfect. But if I whip out my phone, it's so much easier. So I'd much rather just like talk to you guys on my phone like a FaceTime than have this like whole production setup, because talking to a camera is a lot scarier than just talking to your friend on a phone. So behind me is this beautiful cabinet that is somehow open. Don't know why, that's fine. I actually got it from Sam's Club last summer. It was on sale for half off when we got it. And it used to live in the room behind me, which was our dining room. But like I said, my life's changed a lot. Both my husband and I's lives have changed a lot, and we didn't need this room to be our dining room anymore. It just became a doom pile for all of our stuff, because we'd come in from our carport, throw everything on the dining room table, and then it would just like sit, and it was gross to look at. We hated it. It just wasn't good. So we're recycling through a lot of that. That being said, I got to move this beautiful cabinet in here, and I loved that I got to do that because sometimes I would take discovery calls at my kitchen table or at the dining room table, and people would see this in the background and they would always comment on it and think how cool it was. So now I get to move it in here, and now it's part of my office. I've always loved cabinets like this. I know they're more trending right now, but ever since I was a kid, I was like, those are cool. Something about the curve, and I also love glass panels. Love glass cabinets. I'm a big fan of combination storage. I talk about that a lot, again, in the ADHD Home Office Playbook, which you can pick up. I'll put the link down below. But I like this because it allows me to see the decor items that I would love to have in front of me, but they're also not overwhelming all the time, and there's storage. So my rule for storage is if you need it daily, it's within reach. It's very accessible of your desk. If you need it once a week, it should be accessible but put away. So that's stuff that's more in here where I can see it if I need it. so I don't have to go hunting for it, but it's not a pain to pull out. And then stuff you need much less frequently gets put away, and you're more willing to hunt for it when you need it. So we'll give you a little cabinet tour since we're here. Now, I'm a plant girl, like I said, but I needed some place for my plants because I took a lot of shelves down that were in here. Is this gonna... I don't think this is gonna stay open. Bear with me. Okay. We have this guy. I don't even know what this is, but he's living in water. He's been okay. I think he needs some more light, to be honest with you, but he's growing just fine. I'm a big fan of just like propagations and water plants because they're much easier to maintain. If you're all about growth of your plants, this might not be the best way to grow them, but if you're just trying to maintain them and have some greenery in your environment, having propagations that just live in water is perfectly fine. As long as you are good with changing out the water when it needs to be, you're perfectly fine. This is a pothos propagation in an old, is this a tequila bottle? Yeah, it is. So fun fact, I used to work at amphitheaters, like music amphitheaters, doing sustainability work as a sustainability like operations manager person. That's the best way to describe the job. That wasn't the job title. We would sort through all of the waste that the amphitheaters would produce, and that includes the bars. So a lot of the time they'd have really cool liquor bottles. I don't really drink at all, but I love the look of a cool label, so I've held on to that one. I think I've had that bottle for like 5 or 6 years now, and I just love the art on it, so it lives in my office. Next up, we have these bugs. I have a scorpion one too. If that I should have warned you. I'm sorry if this freaks you out. Maybe I should put that away. My dad was doing yard work a couple years ago. How old was I? I say a couple years. It was like 10 years ago. That's so crazy. The passage of time. Wow. He found them digging in the yard. And he was like, you know who would love these? Claire. So those were my birthday gift. I also have this planty guy. He's been doing pretty okay in there. New growth, so I'm happy with that. Another propagation. This buddy needs some water, but one leaf and he's doing strong, and he's just happily hanging out. Same thing, other tiny tequila bottle from the amphitheater, but it's so precious. Someone definitely brought this in. This was not sold at the bars, but I just think it's so cute as like a baby propagation thing. I love miniature things. I think a lot of us do. Another photo of my husband because I'm obsessed with him and I love him a lot. Next up, I have this big yellow serving bowl, and I love it because it adds a pop of color to a space that's otherwise a bit more neutral. And I love dark, moody neutrals, but I also love color. Look at me. This makes sense. I thrifted it for like $3, and it's metal, so I don't have to worry about breaking it, which is really great for me. I'll use it to water larger plants from time to time, but I will also typically store things in it because it's really easily accessible, but it looks nice from the outside. And that's also one of my big hacks, is if you want a space to look nice, but you don't necessarily want something to just be filled with baskets, you can use some really pretty serving bowls, and your guests aren't going to know any better. And your brain's going to know, but it's not going to bother you unless stuff's spilling out of them. Next up, I do have a basket. Still has the tag on it, of course. But this holds all of my notebooks for different things. So this was a general journal. I've had it since 8th grade. So this is my emo journal, and I just don't really use it that often, but I like to keep it close because sentimental value. Next, this brown one is my sketchbook. So it's typical fashion sketches or like room sketches or just things I need to throw on paper. And then this is my Zumba choreography journal. I am a group fitness instructor. I do Zumba and dance fitness stuff. And so all of my stuff lives in here. So what if I need to write down new choreography, that is where it belongs. And then this is just a cute little stationery. And all of this fits so tightly and neatly, and that makes me happy. And this basket is from IKEA. Now on this bottom shelf here, these are the things I use weekly. So I have my headphone case, my iPad case, and then underneath that is actually a replacement for the planner on my desk because that's gonna go soon. So I'm keeping it here just so I keep tabs on myself as a reminder to be like, how many pages do I have left? Like, what do I need? And then I have a box of all of my paint chip samples. I feel like I am in and out of this all the time, but it's probably less frequently than I think. Usually, if it's not in there, it's living on my desk for a couple of days and then I'll put it back. But this is just an old note card container, and it's transparent so I can see it so I don't forget about things. Because if something's in a book, like I know a lot of designers have books and collections of paint chips and color samples and da-da-da, but this is my system and that works well for me. I'm still trying to find a place for this, but this is Oh the Places You Will Go by Dr. Seuss, and this was given to me when I was a camp counselor as a teen. I was going to get rid of it, and then I opened it up and saw the note from the camp directors and the inscription, which was like personally written to me, and it was really sweet and just really spoke to me, so I'm gonna hang on to this one for a while. I feel like it should live in here, but I also don't like looking at Dr. Seuss every day, but it also kind of matches the bowl and the pops of color, so that is a journey. It might move around, but for now it is in here. This is cosmetics and stuff for throwing in my bags when I need to leave the house. And then we have a speaker as well for throwing in a bag if needed, but that lives there. So the speaker and my cosmetics bag are things that I don't necessarily use weekly, but I use them frequently enough that they should live in there. Now below, this is the area that I definitely don't use as much. Coming down below, we have command hooks and strips. I don't use them as much anymore, but when I need them, they're there. 2 candles that are unused. This is my tech basket for old chargers, boxes, things I just need to keep around. Then we have the Jackery, and then my heater for the winter, so those things can all live tidily in there. Once again, she's a plant girl, so of course we have some more plants. They make me happy. They tie into attention restoration theory and calming your nervous system, especially being neurodivergent, so you can read more about that in my book. And then my ceiling paint is actually called Plant Green, and that was just a happy accident. I just really like the color, and I didn't think it would actually be that on par to my plants, but I think it's really funny that they match that well. And then I do have some wall art. So this is a poster that I found in a coffee shop in Nashville when I lived there, and I just love the art on it. It's been hanging up in whatever space I've had for probably 6 or 7 years now, but it never gets old to me. It's just so intricate and lovely and full of plants and anatomy, and it just really speaks to me. Of course, a girl with a pearl earring is iconic, but with the butterflies around it, it just made me really happy. It felt very on brand for me, and here it is. Now, coming back to the other side of the room, I do have this big mirror here. It's really helpful for filming content, but it also used to be above my desk, so I could just throw my phone up and film a video. I still do that now. You can see all of the marks from my tripod and my hands, but that is what it is. So very helpful. It also helps reflect light, and this is such a small space that it's really handy for that. And also just for like a little fit check from time to time. But I also am a sensory seeker. So anytime I move, it gets reflected in this mirror, and that actually really helps my brain in a weird way because I know it's me, so I'm not scared of the movement in it, but it just gives my brain something else to latch on to throughout the day. Now, next to my big mirror, I have this smaller mirror, which I thrifted, which I just haven't removed from my previous office setup. And then down here is actually an oil lamp that was my mom's, and it's a geode that holds oil in the middle with a little wick, and I think it's the coolest thing. So it just lives as a part of my little like mirror gallery wall. And that is that. Now, Claire, what is this? What is this whole thing? Let me prop you up on my window, and I will show you the whole setup. This is a fairly new addition in my office, and I'm actually pretty proud of it. If you haven't been able to tell already, I love a good nature element. So I actually found this branch in my backyard like a year ago, and it's been floating around my house. It served a few different purposes, but it always had these really cool nubbies. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, this would be a great bag hook, coat hook, whatever. So I originally had the idea to attach it to my wall, and then when we came in from outside, we could hang our stuff on it. That hasn't happened. That's just not really how we function. So this is my fanny pack. I use it for daily errands and smaller things. Then I have my fancy big cool bag lady purse for when I need to do things that require more items, or I just need to look more professional or like more like an adult, to be honest with you. This is my bag for the gym. It just holds some basic stuff for teaching, and then it has pockets for sunglasses and things like that that I usually carry in my hands, but definitely need to put down when I'm at the gym. And then I have my backpack for going to coffee shops and more work-related things. So someone did ask for a what's in my bag video of all of my bags, so I will do that later. But when that happens, the link will be available below if that exists when you see this. This wall was previously a propagation wall. You may have seen that in some of my older photos or Pinterest posts, and I loved it. I thought it was so cool looking, and it was very functional for a time. But I just kind of got too busy to keep up with it, and it ended up becoming more of a pain than it was a dopamine producer, so I took all of them down, but I still have all of these magnets stuck to my wall. And for a while, I was just kind of like, I'll just leave them. I don't know what to do with it. But yesterday, actually, I needed a place to put a visible to-do list that was not on my desk. And I didn't want to put a pin in the wall. And it's also, I don't really have a lot of good wall space in here. And then I was like, wait, I have magnets on my fridge and I have magnets on my wall. Why don't I just use this as a pin board? So this is my to-do list. It is lengthy, but it's a to-do list for like the next 6 weeks. Filming this video is on this to-do list, so I can check that off. It does compete a bit with the bag tree, but that's my situation to figure out. But I kind of love the idea of a magnet wall instead of a pin board because you can also customize your magnets. Like that's what I do. I love finding rocks or gemstones or things people have gifted me or my nieces, and then I can just magnetize them and then use them functionally and see them every day. We're going handheld for a minute, so bear with me, it's a bit shaky. Also, we're getting rid of stuff. This is our Goodwill pile behind me, so don't judge my house. But this is my office chair, and it is from Amazon. It's great if you're sitting in it for less than 3 hours at a time. It's not the best ergonomically, so if you are sitting at a desk all day, I wouldn't recommend it, but I try to get up and move around, so this works for me, but I am actually on the hunt for a new chair. That being said, if you just need something for a quick sit down, less than 3 hours, this is a really great chair option, and I can link it below. One of the reasons I got it is because it's really cute. It's green and gold. Come on. Wait, hang on, I'll show you the wheels. There we go. That just feels so feminine and cute, a little bit fancy. Feminine, cute, and fancy as I drop my phone. Birch Lane seems to have some really cute ones, but I don't know how ergonomic they are, so I'm doing some research on that. And then, of course, Herman Miller is also a good option, but a lot of their chairs are made for bigger bodies. So if you are a smaller woman looking for a chair, you might not just have, like, the thing I found is I just don't have the weight capacity to engage the ergonomics of a lot of chairs. So currently going through that journey, but if I find anything good, I will make a video on it and let you know. I'm gonna let you go because I've been talking to you for quite a while and my speech is starting to get really funky and slur together, which no one wants to hear. So that being said, I know I didn't go a ton into why each of these things are good for my ADHD, but if you are into that, my previous home office tour goes into that a bit more, as well as my ADHD home office playbook, which I just released about 2 weeks ago. It breaks down my entire design process when helping you with your home office. So if you don't want to hire me to do it, you get that book. It's an incredible resource and it's a jam-packed. Also, I designed every single page myself. I formatted the entire thing. Every single page is different because I know some of you guys hate reading, and that's okay. There's no judgment. It's so hard to get through informational things. Like I cannot read anything that is informational, educational. I have to listen to it. But this guide is designed to keep you interested. It's a scavenger hunt in itself. It's beautiful. So that is my pitch. You can learn more about it. I'll link it below. But without further ado, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll try to post more often. I'm not very good at it because I forget I have a YouTube channel. But if you want to see me more or learn more about ADHD home offices or just ADHD home in general, you can find me at dopaminedecor.co, which is my website, or on Instagram at dopaminedecor.co, or threads at dopaminedecorco. That is all. There's something really shiny outside and it's very distracting.